Hello, Ottawans and Ottawans from around the globe. So you've picked up your copy of CK3. The DLC's coming out next week. You're super excited.
Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
You've put a dozen hours in. You make a name for yourself and become a mighty king. And just as soon as everything seems like it's going well, your super huge neighbor decides, meh, I'm gonna subjugate him. Around the same time as all your vassals decide, hey, we want this guy out of power. You're battling back, you're calling allies to war, you're buying mercenaries, but you just can't seem to hold on. Well, today we have a truly special episode. My name's the Ottawa Welshman with over 500 hours in CK3. I was chatting with one of my viewers in my Discord with only a handful of hours played, and he was mentioning he had these exact same problems. We agreed I would review his gameplay footage, give him tips, tricks, and grand strategies that would help him go from barely holding on to a kingdom to a massive empire. If you've just bought the game, or this game's pretty new to you, or you're just looking to improve, this is the video for you. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the background information I got from him was he's playing as a vassal in the Bulgarian kingdom, and he wants to separate, he wants to form his own kingdom. Totally doable. So right away, I'm seeing him make a great play. He notices there's low control in this county, and he does something about it. Low control is typically caused by territory changing hands, a special decision, or you being raided. So you want to avoid those things if at all possible. Control affects how many levies you get from this county, how much gold you get from this county, and how likely the populace are to rise up against you. The higher control, the better it is for you. So here you can see everything that's in blue, that's good for him. But everything in red, he needs to increase the control. So he's just slapping his commander right on to one of these red guys. You should always be leveraging your commander in this way whenever you have the opportunity. Just something to think about. So I'm just noticing within his territory, he's got tons of small vassals. On top of that, he hasn't maxed out his holdings. He's only holding 2 of 4 castles.
Where to, Mike?
The Gothic Castle.
Gothic Castle.
That's what I said.
Now you'll come to understand the more you play this game that you need to be maxing out the number of holdings you have personally so that you can increase your gold income and your prestige income per turn. So what I would be doing if I were him, rushing high tribal authority, so saving your prestige and spending it on increasing your crown authority. After that, I would take any sons and daughters I had and marry them off for alliances. I would then go about revoking titles from some of my vassals so that I could hold them personally. If these vassals decide they don't want to give it up without a fight, no big deal, you can call your allies to war. Because if you can max out your domain holdings, your gold goes up, your prestige goes up, you can spend that and reinvest that in your counties and become more and more powerful. He's already gone up the stewardship tree, now he's going up the military tree. Looks like he's picked the strategy focus, which is okay, it's not bad. I kind of prefer the authority focus, especially if we saw his control screen where there were a few counties that weren't necessarily at 100% control, because you get that control growth per month just passively, so that's kind of overpowered in that sense. Okay, so he sees that his bishop is not endorsing him, so he's giving him his son to educate so that he can boost that. Realistically, this is not really the play here. Why? Who you get to educate your son is incredibly important. Take a look at this bishop. He's got 11 learning and all the rest of his stats are completely piss poor. Basically, how your kid turns out depends on this formula up here. So it's good to pick somebody with a high learning and a high statistic that you're kind of going for that child. So if you want him to be a good steward, you put him down the stewardship tree and have him educated by somebody with good stewardship qualities, for example. Here's a tactic I use in my games that might be kind of helpful. I always go and take a look at my knights, find one that's not married, find a woman that has the highest learning, and assign her as the guardian. This will basically make sure your heirs are the best possible heirs they can be. I found this is something that not a lot of new players do, but it's actually quite important. So look at this. This is critically important. His liege has died and now is this little kid. So he goes and checks, and the liege only has 600 troops, and he has 1,000. He's about to make some money moves here. He declares war on his liege for his claims. He has a claim on the whole kingdom. He could actually pull this off. So he's declaring war. He's got some allies, and he's making a straight up rush for the capital. I'd love to see it. So hopefully he takes a valuable hostage here, and he does. Oh, perfect.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
gonna go ahead and enforce his demands, and now he's actually the king of this entire kingdom. Yeah, typically kings are kings of kingdoms.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
So yeah, he really only has one building in his main capital, which isn't that good. He really needs to be investing in his holdings so he can increase his gold per turn, his prestige per turn, his number of levies, the quality of his men-at-arms, things like that. Uh-oh. Do you see this? He's got a rising populace against him, specifically these members of this faction. So he needs to deal with this right away, and the best way to do this is by pure alliance fodder. So I've referred to alliance fodder a few times on my channel before, but it's essentially taking your kids and using them for nothing but maintaining alliances with your vassals so that they cannot join these independence factions against you. See, look at the reasons why he doesn't like him. The liege holds the de jure duchy, and they find orthodoxy, his religion, evil. So what he can do right away is right-click on him, demand his conversion. There's good odds that he can take it, or he can pay him gold, or he can give him a weak favor so that he takes his conversion to orthodoxy, and I swear to God, if he takes that conversion, he leaves the faction. So if you look here, he doesn't actually have high tribal authority, and he's still missing prestige to even get there. He basically won't be able to get here. The option to kind of war his vassals, then revoke the titles, is probably not his best shout. His best shout is probably to align with his vassals, ask them to convert to his religion, give them the duchies they need, and then kind of grow stronger and slowly do this over time and slowly build his way up to absolute tribal authority where he can revoke titles from them. You can tell he's gearing up for a war externally. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe these guys, but that's like, even that, I wouldn't do it. No, don't. No. He's expanding too quickly. These guys might be the odd exception because they're one county, so all he has to do, walk these guys in and sit them on here. He could definitely do it if he got rid of these vassals in this faction, but I don't know if it's going to happen, to be honest with you. But he's in a race against the clock. Run your guys in! What are you doing? No, run them in! Run them right in. Where is he going?
Where are you going? You're lost?
I'm so confused. Yes, thank you, sir. I was so confused. Okay, so what he's doing is he's making room on his council for these vassals here. He's going to assign one of these people. The only problem with that is, yes, it'll get them to like you, but then your council suffers and you don't get as good bonuses. So really, I would advise against that. Perfect. So he won this war pretty commandingly. That's great. But he's still got to take a peek at this faction and make sure they don't get too strong. All right, we're making some money moves. He just created one of his duchy titles, which is perfect, so he should be able to grant that away. Because he's got too many held duchies, and I'll tell you right now, he's probably taking a massive penalty for this. Oh, I like this. He's looking to upgrade his tribal hold as well. He just needs more gold. He's got the right idea. So he's been looking at this vassal of his for a while. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. And he demands conversion from his vassal, and the vassal takes it. Oh my God, thank you so much. I've been waiting for that. So that is key. He does understand the concepts of this game. Okay, so he's using his priest to start converting his lands, which is really, really smart. Either he can convert to this other religion, or if he really wants to play Orthodox, he can just start converting his specific lands slowly and surely and asking his vassals to convert, and they'll do the work for him in their own counties. How conversion works is he should be converting his own counties first, and then either demanding conversion from his current vassals or granting land away to vassals of his religion. Naturally, the AI vassals are always going to want to convert their lands to their religion. Okay, this other thing here, he can ask his head of faith for gold. He should have been swaying his pope consistently and making sure that he's got a high opinion of him so that he can turn his piety into gold, and then immediately taking that gold and investing it in his counties, which will increase his gold per month and make him less and less reliant on foreign sources of income like asking the pope, ransoming, etc., etc. I just looked here, it says he's disfigured, he's got a mascot. It says, "This is you, allegedly." Oh, that kills me. Okay, so it looks like he's trying to disinherit his sons, but he doesn't have enough prestige. How to get out of this? Well, it's kind of too late. He doesn't have enough renown because he hasn't been planning for it. He's had 3 sons. He hasn't had them lead armies so that they have the potential to die in them. I think he's got to embrace the partition here and really just plan the next life. Okay, so he has died of cancer. He's gone to his son. And I'm guessing, I didn't see because he didn't really show it, but I'm guessing he lost some territory. Not a huge deal. Looks like he's assigning his counselors just based on whatever. The first thing he should be doing, okay, if it's a stewardship one, you click this little icon here. It sorts by the best steward possible and all the way down. Oh no, he's looking, oh my god, he was looking for a new wife and then he had war declared on him. It's always the way. All right, interesting. So that's probably an issue. Okay, let's take a look. What are they actually declaring war over? Is it important to you? Yeah, so it looks like Hungary's declared war on him. I don't know what for though. This actually could be a lot worse. It's just over a small county, so no big deal. He could have been looking at subjugation here, so probably best case scenario. So it looks like they have a ton more troops than he does. He's called a couple of his allies to war, but still outnumbered and outgunned. What he could do is he could rush the enemy's capital, but it's way the hell over there. So you'll see with that one county, he takes 16% war score. He's trying to move his troops in and take as much land as he can. I have a feeling though, once these guys take this, he's kind of going to be sewered. He won't be able to recover from that. He does check the white piece like a smart man, but he doesn't have enough. Usually you need about 20-25%, I would think. All right, and here come the bad guys coming to ruin his party. He should have already been over grouping up with his allies, but that's not the case. They are going to wipe him. He should not be running in right now. That is a bad idea. They're going to wipe him. They've got 5,000 troops, and he's still headed in here.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
What I would do is just send my dudes up, kind of have them chilling in the mountains, or kind of retreat entirely. There's not too much you can do in this scenario. You would have had to prepare for it a long time ago. And the reason he's getting so sewered here is because he's a kingdom with only 1,000 dudes and 1 holding. He would have to cede the territory and really start building again, kind of putting his mistakes in the past and starting fresh. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal because he would only be ceding like 1 county. Okay, so that was a mistake because he lost all his troops. Okay, so he just lost this battle. He's down to 600 troops. His allies are down to 700 troops. There's no way he's winning this war. It's impossible. It's purely impossible. If you were to hand me this game right at this second and say, fix it, what I would do, I would surrender this war. You lose 1 county. No big deal. You can come back from 1 county. I would then stop, turn everything, change my focus to a stewardship focus, go back to my capital, start reinvesting, really rebuilding my capital, build it so that I can increase my gold income and I can increase my number of troops. And by that, I mean we increase our levies through increasing buildings and increasing our holdings, and we increase our men-at-arms by spending our gold on hunts, on feasts, and then translating that gold into prestige, and that prestige into men-at-arms. That's really what needs to happen right now, because if he doesn't do exactly that, it's all going to fall apart incredibly quickly. He'll have vassals rising up, he'll have neighbors declaring war on him, attempting to subjugate him. It'll be a really bad situation. So some key takeaways for this player. Oh, they always want to be maxing out their holdings. That's probably the most critical one. So if you're not at 404 holdings, you need to get there. And you need to get there by revoking titles from people, or by taking new holdings and holding them yourself, things like that. Number 2, you need to make sure that your vassals are always of your religion. That's going to help you a lot when it comes to making sure they're happy with you and they're not going to rebel. Preferably, they would also be of your same culture. The other thing is you need to be investing in your holdings. Only having 1 building is absolutely terrible. The more buildings you can get in your main holding will mean you have an increase to your gold income, you have an increase to your prestige, you have an increase to the number of men you possess, all those things, and it just snowballs from there. So you always have to be investing in buildings and making sure you're maxing out your holdings. you did everything else pretty well, I have to say. You know, you picked the right time to break away from your liege, you called allies in when you needed to, you pick and chose your battles other than a few misclicks properly. It was well done. I know this video wasn't my most entertaining one, but hopefully you guys learned something. It was quite fun to produce. You guys can send me a message on Discord if you have like a Save My Disaster file. I'd love to take a look. Or if you'd like to produce a video like this and send me your game footage to review, we can work something out. Feel free to check out my other content and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.